Hi guys, and welcome to the Metal Lab. Hi Tom, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Another podcast for 2023.
Yeah.
Quite exciting times.
Yeah, and it was quite nice. So this episode we're going to be talking about the fact that we was lucky enough to go along to the Willow Festival, which was a music festival local to us.
Yeah. I mean, it's got quite a big history of the music festival, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I think the last time was it 2014?
Something like that. So it's been a while.
A long time. Yeah. So it was quite exciting when we got the opportunity to do, the press and the media, which is really cool.
Yeah, and again we've got to see some amazing bands. So today I thought we'd talk about a few of those bands and then show you some of the highlights of their live performances. So who was the first act that we're going to talk about?
So this is a band that I've recently met, just through some going to normal gigs and stuff. They're a reputable rock band. They're called Call to the Faithful.
Yeah, they were good, weren't they?
Yeah, they were amazing. They played on the Ostrich stage, and it was nice to see people actually filling the stage and supporting these guys. So yeah, they were really cool. Very different from what I listened to, but I enjoyed them. The performance. You can see that they love to do what they do.
Yeah, and the crowd definitely reacted in that way, wasn't it? It was a really good atmosphere.
Yeah, Matt is a really, really good frontman as well. And they've got their launch party soon, and they've got the new single out as well, Knife to a Gunfight. So make sure you check that out on Spotify.
Definitely.
So yeah.
Okay, so let's check them out. So that was Call to the Faithful, and like I say, that was a great show for them.
Yeah,
and,
definitely.
really enjoyed listening to them. So who's the next band we're going to be looking at?
Not so metal, but I found these. They've got a lot of quite sort of groovy sort of riffs and everything. And these guys, they are a 5-piece from Boston.
Oh, okay, so
And
not
they're
too far from us.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that there's bands in little towns like this that are, getting some, sort of local exposure, which is really good.
Well, you said about with the groovy nature of it, it almost reminded me a little bit of bringing back some of the early blues stuff that influenced metal the first time
Definitely.
round. There seems to be this influx again of some of these bands starting to bring in some of these.
Yeah, it's gone full circle again. So the band's called Mosquito, as Moskito for anyone that's trying to search for them.
Well, we'll drop a link in the description.
We will do. So let's check out their performance that we filmed next.
So that was Mosquito with their amazing set.
Yeah, it was really cool. I really enjoyed them. I mean, I'm not really into that kind of stuff, but I think I've sort of, my mind's been opened up over the past sort of 12 months, and I'm starting to sort of appreciate the good musicianship
Yes.
as well.
Yeah,
you
not
know?
just the metal sound.
No,
but the
and how
musicianship,
good and what it means to people, listening to the music as well. I've seen that, a lot of people were really sort of relating to stuff, which was nice to see.
And I think there is a difference getting to see a band live as opposed to just listening to them on Spotify.
Definitely.
And so going into that, we was chatting to some of these new bands, and again, some of these bands have been around for a little while. And we keep talking about this, but I do want to keep reiterating. If you join a company like PRS, a publishing company, these bands would have also, not only if they got paid by the promoters, get that pay from it, they would have got paid for playing their own music. And I can't emphasise this enough.
Yeah.
Every time a band plays a gig performing their own music in a venue that has a music licence, if you join PRS or one of their affiliates, you will be entitled to some money. Now, it's not for a pub, it's not going to be a lot of money, it might only be say £8 or something.
Yeah.
But when you're playing a festival, even if it's a local festival like the Willow Festival, when there's 10 to 20,000 people,
I think it must have been that over the weekend,
then you actually can get a sizable amount of money, and if the very least enough to cover your petrol getting to and from gigs.
Definitely.
And I'm always surprised at how few bands know about things like PRS and PPL. So please, if you are in a band and you want to make some money from your music and you are playing gigs, especially if you're playing festivals, join PRS, join these companies that are designed there to help musicians get money for their music.
And protect your music.
Exactly,
that's the thing. I mean, I understand that people want to send it to radio stations to get that exposure, that's great, but if that radio station thinks, this is a really good track, we're going to play this one for month on our loop, they're losing the royalties for that, aren't they?
Exactly.
And
so it's really important. So we do have our copyright podcast, so in the description, check that out, there's lots of information on there. Come by the Metal Lab Facebook page. If you've got any questions at all, I'll be on there. You can find me, you can send me messages, and I can help answer any of those for people. Or go straight to the source, go to PRS or to BMI or to any of these other companies that help you get your royalties for when you play live music.
I think it's important because there's a lot of new bands who are just maybe established over the last couple of years that haven't really done a lot of touring because of obviously COVID and everything, and now they're getting out there, they're getting the gigs, so this is the time to make some money, isn't it, for themselves?
And I think the difference is, whereas before you used to be able to make money from your music, because of the streaming services paying musicians so poorly, playing live is one of the few places where bands can start to try and make some money. So whether that's selling your merchandising or joining someone like PRS, so you can then get paid for playing.
It doesn't help with certain venues as well that only do like a pay to play thing, isn't it? Which is quite difficult for newer bands.
It is, and I understand it's difficult for the venues. We understand that everyone needs to make a living with this, and again, it breaks my heart at times where some of these bands are working really, really hard, and you say to them, "Did you know you could have made some money?" And they just have no idea about this. And some of these are bands that have management companies.
Exactly.
So one thing I would say is, if you're approached by a management company who want to promote your music, if they're not advising you to join a publishing company where you can get paid for your music being played, then do they know the business well enough to manage you? I think it's one of these things where people have to be careful of these people out there claiming to be promoters and managers and things, who don't necessarily have the musicians' best interests at heart. For them, it's about them making money as opposed to helping the bands become better bands. So talking of bigger and better bands, we got to see a band that seems to be doing quite well, who we know are members at the moment.
I think they were saying that one of their tracks got into the top 5 in the Spanish charts.
I think it was, they said, it's
Spanish rock charts, so that was absolutely amazing. So obviously we've dealt with Cardinal X for quite a long time, we've promoted them, we've done a lot of stuff, so it was really nice to see the guys live, you know what I mean, and meet them for the first time. So Cardinal X, they're sort of like a softer sort of rock metal band, aren't they? Sort of, you know, that sort of new wave element as well.
Yes, definitely. I think that new wave definitely. In there.
I mean, Dark Water is their new single, and that's just
the one that's
amazing.
Got to the charts.
That got to, one of those got to the top, the Spanish top 5, which is cool, and for Spanish exposure as well, for global exposure,
Yeah.
isn't it? Do you know? So they're a 4-piece. They're just sort of touring everywhere at the moment,
Yeah,
which is
and
really
they're
good.
a great bunch of guys.
Of course, yeah.
So let's check out their live set. that was Cardinal X, and like I say, a great bunch of guys. Please do check them out. Like I say, they've got a single out at the moment that's doing really well over in Europe. So yeah, make sure you check all their socials.
I think the nice thing as well is at the Willow Festival we had the 2 outside stages.
Yeah.
And I think their performance really, they were the kind of band that did perform well on a big outdoor stage.
Yes, they definitely feel. You could tell that their experience and their sound was definitely big enough to feel that.
Definitely.
So who have we got next?
So this band, they performed on the Ostrich stage. They're quite local friends to us. They're from Spalding, so they're a 5-piece.
Yeah.
They class their genre sort of music as metalcore.
Okay, yeah.
So this band is called Buried by My Heartache. So yeah, we've known them quite a long time now, haven't we?
Yeah, again, I think we've got a few bits on in the pit with them as well.
Previous Battle of the Bands winners.
Yeah, so they've been doing really, really well. So if you know the Metal Lab, you must know Buried by My Heartache. Let's go. that was Buried by My Heartache. So the next band, obviously we've been chatting a little bit about this next band, about where they come from and their influences.
I'd never heard of them, obviously with my wealth of knowledge of underground.
Yeah.
I'd seen them on the list of bands that were playing.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, they're from Peterborough, so I'll touch base with them, message them,
Yep.
see obviously what we can do for them. And this band's called Harry Woods. They're a 5-piece band from Peterborough.
Yep.
Okay. So
they were really good. When I was again,
very good.
What was really nice about the Willow Festival was that there was a lot of bands there, like I said, that we hadn't necessarily heard before, that were quite new.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the pandemic has allowed some of these bands to start developing, but it was a genuinely nice surprise to hear how tight some of these bands were and how well they worked together.
Oh, definitely.
Now, we've been having a bit of back and forth about how you would sort of describe these. So,
yeah,
you think they're more
I think they have quite a old school Trivium sound.
Yeah.
But obviously, you sort of, your ear sort of says something a little bit different.
A bit older, yeah. So obviously the argument's always been that Trivium were just a knockoff version of Metallica.
Well,
now obviously that's when they first come out. I know that's not what you feel.
No, I don't.
Now I've not listened to huge amounts of Trivium, so to my ear, they seem to be influenced by the same band. So they're the Maidens, the Metallicas, that 80s, 90s metal.
Yeah.
To me, is definitely an influence. Now, you play me a few other Trivium tracks, and some of them it's I can sort of see what you're saying from there. But I do think that there's definitely some of that older school influence of that. I think we can both agree that that's there with them.
So we would be very interested in everyone listening to tell us what your thoughts are and what sort of sound you think comes from there. That'd be a really good sort of topic for everyone to discuss as well on the podcast.
Yeah, so drop your comments below and let's give them a listen.
Let's check your voices, here we go! Hey! 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 Never was, so keep the country on its feet.
that was Hereward. Again, let us know how you would describe their music and help us stop bickering about it.
Yeah, definitely.
So the weekend was great. We was there from the Friday, the Saturday and the Sunday. We got to see loads of bands. Now, obviously, we couldn't put them all on today's podcast with that, as much as we may have liked to. But there was definitely some other standouts that we got to hear.
My standout for the weekend was a band called Stray Native.
Yeah, they were very good, weren't they?
Unbelievable. The first time I'd ever heard them as well. But yeah, hopefully, in the near future we'll be doing some promo for them guys, and and I know they've got a few local gigs in Peterborough coming up soon. So so check out their their social media and stuff, and yeah,
definitely. And as well as Stray Native, who again were great, and like you say, I hadn't heard of them before. They came out, they filled the stage. That was on one of the bigger stages, and I don't think you would have been able to tell that they were not a bigger band.
Definitely.
There was also some other notable bands that we got to see.
So we've seen Minus Satellite, they're from Peterborough, 3-piece. Tory L'Amour, they were on the Ploughman stage outside. They were very good. We also had Firefall. So
Firefall again. Yeah, another
good friends
great
of
band.
ours.
Vendetta played as well.
Yeah, Vendetta. They played on the Saturday night on the Ostrich stage.
Again, that was a very full
really good performance. Yeah, so that was.
Yeah. And you'll find some of these in our In the Pit series, and again some of the bands that we've mentioned in today's podcast. Again, check out our playlist, the In the Pit, where you'll get to see fuller versions of some of the songs that you've seen today.
Definitely.
So that was our Willowfest review. Make sure you check out all of the bands, check in the descriptions for links to their Facebook pages and to their social medias. So for all your news, reviews and interviews,
make sure you check us out at the Metal Lab, the home of underground metal.